Raider Nation, help me out. We're family, right? So my bosses over the last few weeks have been like, man, the Raiders Report channel, it's actually got one of the lowest amount of new subscribers compared to all the channels here at Chat Sports. I want to be able to keep making daily videos for y'all, but I'll be honest, they're kind of giving me a hard time. So please, help me out. I need to get to 74,000 subs by Tuesday, which means I only need 396 more. So if you're a diehard Raider fan, if you appreciate the show, hit that big red button that says subscribe. No matter the location, from O-A-K-L-A to L-B, I'm a Raider. Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. In today's show, we're going to be breaking down the latest news and rumors around the silver and black. We're going to talk about Derek Carr, an interesting trade idea with Marcus Mariota. We're also going to be breaking down a mock draft that I saw on the internet, and I'm going to talk about a player that the Raiders could potentially re-sign. We're going to kick off the show with the jersey I got on today. It's DC. And in an article, Field Yates predicted every single starting quarterback in 2021. I've also made this exact same video because, well, it's what we do here at Chat Sports. Just like me, Field Yates ended up predicting that Derek Carr was going to be the starter in 2021, which I think we would all agree is going to be the case. Now, the reason why I had to be able to bring this up is simply because, you've seen people all the time. Anytime a quarterback is trade rumor, this or that, I do have to talk about it. It is a part of my job here. However, Louis Riddick yesterday was literally like, if anybody out there think that DC's the problem, go watch some film, which I agree. However, if you can potentially upgrade, that's what the whole Deshaun Watson argument comes in. But let me walk you through this whole quote here by Field Yates on sticking with Derek Carr. It feels like we've been wondering whether Carr's time was over with the Raiders since Coach John Gruden was hired, but the veteran has been a mainstay. He is one of those quarterbacks who threads a unique needle. Now, this is the second part of it here. So he has moments of excellence that inspire confidence and rarely has abomination games that cost the team. But it still feels like we're debating his status as the franchise future annually. With 2 years left on his contract, it's likely that Carr is back again. So it is that way, right? Because I think playing for the Raiders, it's a tough fan base to play for because the amount you respect. However, I do think the biggest reason why Derek Carr is going to come back, and I think why everyone out there should be confident that he comes back, is because of how favorable his contract is for this Las Vegas Raiders team. I know we talk about it all the time, but I just wanted to keep you guys updated on the latest around the QB. So fill in the blank here. If the Raiders trade Derek Carr, I will blank. If you want to fill in the blank for yourself, that's great. The other reason why I wanted to do this, though, is because I want you to fill in the blank for me. If Derek Carr is traded, I have to do what here on the Las Vegas Raiders Report? Now, I'm a man of my word, and sometimes I've done some crazy things on the show, and for some of you maybe new subscribers that don't quite remember it, but we're going to go back way a long time ago where I tweeted out, if the Raiders trade for Antonio Brown, I'm going to drink 84 beers in 6 minutes. A few weeks before that, I had to do 6 beers in 6 minutes because of a bet I made here at Chat Sports. If you don't believe me, here's the thumbnail to the video. And if you want to find out whether or not I did it, seriously go check it out. The easiest way to find it, search on YouTube. Mitchell Renz, 84 beers on YouTube. Let me know what y'all have to say about it. Take a screenshot, tag me in it. I would love to share the vid. All right, let's get back to DC here and the talk and what he did in 2020. 67.3% completion percentage. That's great. 4,103 yards. That's career high. Touchdowns, 27. 9 interceptions, and yes, he led the National Football League in fumbles. So I know a lot of times we're always talking about Carr, but this is what I want to bring up. If you can get better each and every year, that's what I'm looking for. And Derek Carr has done exactly that. So here's his passer rating with Gruden since 2017. 86.4, 93.9 in 2018, 100.8 in 2019, and his career best, 101.4. Now, I don't really think passer rating is as good of a stat to look at when you actually look at quarterbacks and the overall value that they bring to a football team. The stat that I like, it's QBR, and this is the number that I want y'all to start looking at for Derek Carr going forward. In 2017, 50.5. 2018, okay, a little bit of a downhill, 46.5, but then a huge spike up, 64.1, and then a really big spike up in 2020 with 71.0. So for some of you, they're like, Mitch, what do all those numbers mean? How can I make those relative to me? How about this? Carr's 71.0 QBR in 2020. That ranked 11th best in the National Football League. Now, there were a few other quarterbacks that were ahead of him that didn't play as many football games, but the debate we always have on this show, I feel like, is Derek Carr a top 10 quarterback? Is Derek good enough to not just get you to the playoffs, but to win a Super Bowl with? Because if he's not good enough to win a Super Bowl with, then you might as well get rid of him right now, because there's no sense of coming into a season if you don't think your quarterback's good enough to win you a Super Bowl. I'm a believer, if you have a top 10 quarterback, and if you can put a supporting cast around him and put a good defense behind him, you have a chance to win a Super Bowl. And the last time I checked, it's really only him and Tom Brady the only people to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. So, just saying it. Is Derek Carr a top 10 QB? Type Y for yes or N for no. All right, let's now dive into Marcus Mariota potentially going to the New England Patriots. So just like Field Yates predicted Derek Carr to stay, he also predicted that the New England starting Patriots quarterback is going to be Super Mario. So a lot of times, you try to find certain sources that you trust. You try to find certain people that you trust. Field Yates does articles and videos just like we do here at Chat Sports. Is ESPN, maybe connected? I don't know, but I do know this. Field Yates knows a lot of people in the New England area and has a lot of connections to the Patriots. So we've seen a lot of rumors around Mariota. The fact that now Field Yates is somebody that's connecting Mariota to New England is definitely something that I'm watching for. Something that y'all need to be watching for is your figure. And if you want to get into better shape, today's show is presented by Panda Subs. Go to chatsports.com/free protein if you want to go ahead and try Panda Subs' awesome protein flavors. You can try fruity cereal, chocolate ice cream, and vanilla ice cream. It's at the link below. All you got to do is just pay for shipping. Once you realize how amazing the protein tastes and how amazing all their products are, which I'm telling you I use every single day, take advantage of the deal we got going on. 40% off at pandasubs.com, but you got to use code RaiderNation. Why? The guy who owns the site, big-time Raider fan, and he's only hooking up Raider Nation. So pandasubs.com, use code RaiderNation to save 40% off. All right, let's go to the second part here. Some of these quotes coming in from Field Yates on Mariota starting for the Pats. The Patriots are among a group of teams that are too far from the top of the draft order to likely land a spot for the top draft prospect quarterbacks, meaning we're examining other veteran options who could still be logical fits. While Cam Newton's return isn't totally ruled out, it's an unlikely option. Here's the second part of this quote. Be it via a trade or cut, Mariota could find a new home this offseason, and the Patriots are a logical fit. So we've talked about New England for probably about 2 weeks now being linked to Mariota. So I'm going to ask you guys this question. Where is he going to play in 2021? If you're like, he's still going to be the backup quarterback for the Raiders, I want you to type LV. If you're like, nah, man, he's going to New England. It's a done deal. I want you to type any in the comments. Now, maybe you think it's going to be somebody totally different. Comment that NFL team below. Now, this might not be due to a trade, but I'm at least curious, where do y'all think Mariota is going to play in 2021? Let's start talking now about the 2021 NFL Draft. I saw a pretty cool article out there from The Athletic, and it had the Raiders picking Christian Barmore, 17 overall. Barmore is by far my favorite defensive tackle prospect, okay? And the reason why he's starting to just assert himself, I don't know if he's ever going to be a Quinnen Williams type of player or a Leonard Williams type of player. However, I do think that he's going to be a solid Pro Bowl caliber defensive tackle in the National Football League. Now, he's not the normal DT that I think a lot of people see coming from Alabama. He's a little bit more quick, twitchy, and he shows some raw athletic ability. He also has that strength that you like to see. But he's a big boy, like really big boy who can still grow into his body a little bit. I mean, 6'5", 310 pounds, had 37 tackles last year, 9.5 tackles for loss and 8 sacks. But what I really liked was this. He didn't really start in the beginning of the year. And the more and more playing time he got, the better and better he got. So to me, he's still learning the defensive tackle position, and he's going to continue to get better and better. Now, I understand that The Athletic is something that y'all have to pay for. I don't really believe in paying for things, so I'm just going to walk you through their mock draft here. So in round 1, they had Christian Barmore from Alabama. Like that a lot. Round 2, pick 48. Carlos Basham Jr., he's also known as Boogie Basham. I watched his tape from the Senior Bowl. I've watched more tape from him at Wake Forest. Absolutely love this pick here. In round 3, pick number 80, Jabril Cox, linebacker from LSU. Probably means you're not going to bring back Nicholas Morrow then. Round 4, I know you guys always make fun of me, but he's the safety from USC. Talona Hufanga, I believe I got that one right. And then you got Jared Patterson, who is a sleeper running back from Buffalo. And the last guy we drafted from Buffalo, he was pretty good. And then in round 7, wide receiver Trevon Grimes. So what I want you to do right now, I just showed you the Athletics' latest mock draft here, and I'm going to be coming out with one pretty soon as well. So stay patient on that, I promise. We've been kind of busy down here. Dallas, Texas is one hell of a place right now. Grade the Raiders mock draft that you just saw. A, B, C, D, or F. My grade for it is an A. I actually, when I saw it, I was like, wow, this is pretty dope. I mean, if you can get defensive tackle Barmore, who's the top DT in the draft, I like that. It fills a major need. If then you can also get Boogie Basham, I like that a lot. But what I want people to think about is when you see a mock draft, what does that also mean? And sure, it's hard to predict what happens, but if that's the type of mock draft you see a team doing, that also means certain things had to happen in free agency. So if that mock draft happens, I'm a believer that that means you didn't go out and sign a player like Leonard Williams. And that probably means you missed on maybe some other top defensive tackles because, well, I'll get into a story here in a little bit. That also means, though, that you went out and probably signed a top safety because if you address safety in round 4 and you skip out on some of those other players, I'm hoping that means that you went out and got a guy like a Marcus Williams or got a guy like a John Johnson or maybe a guy like Marcus May. Maybe you could have got a guy like Justin Simmons as well, even though I don't know how likely that one is to ultimately happen. So today's show is presented once again by Panda Subs. Awesome friends here from the show, big-time Raider fan. What I want you to do, though, all right, because I'm always amazed on how amazing this fan base is, and even though Pat McAfee thinks we're a joke, let's show Pat McAfee and the rest of the world that we're not. So what I want you to do, go give Panda Subs a follow on Instagram, okay? Last time I checked, they were at 2,198 followers. I bet you that we can get him a whole bunch of new followers, okay? Not only follow them, I want you to just spam his DMs. Like, I want him when he checks his phone in the afternoon, he's like, why do I have 100 to 200 random people typing Raiders to me? That's what I want you guys to do. So give him a follow, DM Panda Subs on Instagram, at Panda Subs, and just spam Raiders. I would really, really appreciate it if you guys did that. I can't wait to see his face. All right, let's get to the last story here on today's show. It's around Johnathan Hankins, and this is also kind of connected to that article about the mock draft. In the article where The Athletic had drafting Christian Barmore, they also put that they believe that the Las Vegas Raiders are going to re-sign Johnathan Hankins. If I could, I'd probably give it to Chucky Heads. People are talking. Obviously, he's a free agent in 2021. The issue here for me is you're not really going to get anything more from him in terms of pass rush. He is really only on the football field to, well, stop the run. He's a good player, and he's been a very consistent player for this Raiders defensive line. My only thing is this. If your plan is to really, really upgrade the interior of your D-line, maybe you go out and get a guy like Dalvin Thompson. Maybe you bring back a guy like Shelby Harris. The player that I obviously want is Leonard Williams, and no disrespect to Hankins, he's just not those type of dudes. And for Gus Bradley to make his number one biggest priority in the offseason to build that defensive line, maybe you go out and get a guy like Hankins, you re-sign him, and then you get another contract like a Dalvin Tomlinson, but that also means then you have no chance whatsoever, in my opinion, of going out and getting a Leonard Williams. That is if, you still try to plan on building some other spots in your defense. So before I leave you here, let me know in the comment section, should the Raiders re-sign Johnathan Hankins? And if you're like, yeah, man, they absolutely should. He's a great football player. He's a good football player. I'm not trying to take that away from him. I want you to type R for re-sign. If you're like, you know what? Let's go big or go home. Let's pass on him. Let's go and invest that money into somewhere else. I want you to type P for pass. If you made it this far in the video, remember, I got to get to 74K subs by Tuesday. So if you haven't, please subscribe, and we're going to be keeping you updated also over the weekend on some more Raiders news and rumors.